What's going on, guys and girls? Danny Mazzola here. Just doing a Q&A for you guys. Had a competition running last week to win a pair of footwear pants. So congratulations to Mustafa, who took it out with the most likes on his question. So I'm going to answer a few questions here. There's like 140 something questions. I can't run through them all, unfortunately, but I'm just going to do sort of the top 3 or 4, so I can try to keep it a little bit shorter. So Mustafa's question was, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, bro. What is the best way to train legs, and what are the most efficient exercises you recommend? Depending whether legs is a weakness or a strength. I know for me, during off-season, when legs, I can, work on them a lot harder, because obviously when I'm prepping for a show, my legs aren't as important, so I'll just hit them once a week, and then usually cut them out 2 or 3 weeks out from a show. But during the off season, I like to split it into 2 days, doing quads one day, quads and glutes one day, and hammies and glutes one day, and then quads the next. Not the next day, but 48 hours after or whatever. So straight away, that's splitting it in half because it's such a taxing routine. We all know training legs is probably, it's one of the hardest days to do. It just takes a lot out of your nervous system, and it's can be very fatiguing. So that's one way to do it, is splitting it in half, and you can work on specific areas a lot, focus on a lot more. Best way to train legs, I think the most important thing is disregarding like rep ranges and stuff like that. People are too concerned about how many reps they're going to be doing. I think you need to focus more on isolation, contraction, form, and time under tension. I think those are probably the most 4 important things with all your training, with every single muscle group, is those 4 things. By isolation, I mean, targeting that muscle with your mind. Make sure you're isolating that muscle on its own, and then contracting it, so you're getting strong contractions, really squeezing the shit out of it, like squeezing it as hard as you can, getting the blood in there. Obviously form, so you need to have good form so that you can put isolation and contraction into use. And then time under tension, which is how long, so using tempo and stuff while you're training. So it might be 1 second on a up movement, squeezing for a second, and then on a down movement, like 2 to 3 seconds on the way down. So the more time you put under tension, the more you're going to tear down those fibers, and that's where the growth happens. I see too many guys in the gym, they're just like smashing it and fast and hard as they can. I tell you what, if you take a bit more weight off, slow it down, honestly, the results are much more effective, I believe. Most efficient exercises, obviously your typical, like your squats, deadlifts, which is, I don't know, it can be more of a back day thing, but one of my favorite exercises is lunges. So either walking lunges, or you can do static lunges, leg press, leg extensions, hammy curls, hip thrusters, and another one of my favorites would be Roman deadlifts. Just really hit those hammies real hard. So those are probably the most efficient exercises, I believe, that kind of cover all your bases. And obviously you have calves, which I tend to train calves 3 times a week. They're a very strong muscle group, so you can really pound it out. And rather than going super low, I know there's guys in there, they just want to squat as much as they can, each to their own, but I believe really fatiguing the muscle using higher rep ranges. So I would never really go under 8 reps. I'd stick from 8, I'll be maxing out on an 8, but some days I'll go in there and I might do, say, leg press or something like that, go in there and smash out like 8 sets of 25. I mean, that's time under tension, that's breaking down the muscle, and I tell you what, you'll be a hell of a lot sorer walking out from a training session with a hell of a lot less weight on there than pounding out, trying to pound out PBs on the squats doing like 4 to 6 reps. And, it's you got to break the muscle down for it to be effective. So I believe higher rep ranges is the key for me anyway. You know, this is my opinion. Obviously everyone's got their own opinion, but this is what works for me. And I find when I've trained others or been training with mates and stuff, I believe that's, you know, what's the most effective way to get the most gains out of your workouts. But just remember, isolation, contraction, form, and time under tension. Those 4 things, if you keep that in your mind every single exercise, and just lower the weight. You don't need to go crazy. There's too many guys with bloody egos out there. You know, it's ridiculous. You don't need to worry about all the weight. Don't care about what the other guy's doing next to you, you know. Like, do it for yourself, not for everyone else. Who cares who's watching? Because, you know, yeah. All right. Next question, which kind of fits into the same thing, was from Ben. He said, "What's your opinion on strength training to assist bodybuilding goals? Example, doing 1 rep max training of power movements, squat, dead, bench." So just as I explained, doing a 1 rep max is, you're wasting your time. Don't even, you know, the only time you should be doing 1 rep maxes if you're doing like a powerlifting competition or something like that, or maybe you want to see where you're at, where you've, you know, what sort of strength gains you do. Like, I would do a 1 rep max maybe once a year, if that, you know, probably not even that. Maybe, like, I did a bench press comp for 1 rep max, and on the day, that was the only time I ever tried to do a max. I mean, it's too much pressure on your joints to be doing it all the time. You're not actually breaking down the muscle because it's such a short amount of time under tension. So you're doing 1 rep. What's that, like? If you're lucky, 3 seconds of a set. You're wasting your time. You know, you're better off doing, say, 10 reps. And think of it this way: if you do 10 reps, and if you do a second on the way up, 2 seconds on the way down, your 10 reps from your 1 rep max, you've done 3 seconds under tension. If I do 10 reps, that's 30 seconds. What do you think is going to tear down the muscle more? I mean, it's just common sense. It's, you know, particularly if you want to be in the sport for a long time, you've got to look after your body, man. And doing, you know, single reps, you're just going to destroy your joints. And it's hard on your nervous system as well. You know, you stick to higher reps, lower weight. You're not going to achieve a lot with 1 rep max, I believe. So yeah, I hope that answers for you. Another good question here was, how important, this is from Dylan, how important it is to hit your macros compared to your macros when cutting down? I find it hard to hit sometimes without going over my calories. I'm assuming you're saying, how important is to hit your macros compared to your macros when cutting down? So I'm guessing you're talking about off-season, if that's the way you've worded it. I mean, it's still definitely important to hit your macros in your off-season. Like, that's the time you're gonna, you know, you can have more nutrients in your body to grow. So I think it's definitely, you're saying you're hard sometimes without going over your calories. I'm not sure whether how you've typed it out, whether it's cutting or bulking, but cutting, it's absolutely important. You cannot go over your calorie intake because, you know, if you've worked it out properly and you need to be show ready or whatever, it's essential to keeping your calories in check. As soon as you go over there, you know, you're not going to hit your targets. And as soon as you start going over that, you're just going to set yourself back, and it's going to drag it out a little bit longer, or you might not get to where you want to. But if it's the off-season thing, you know, you can afford to go over a little bit here and there, as long as it's not crazy. You know, you don't want to be blowing out over in the off-season. These, you know, you see some of these guys, it's all good, bro, I'm bulking, and they look like rubbish in the off-season, and when you got to pull all that weight off again, it's so much harder to drop your body fat. If you bounce out to like 15% or something, you know, that's an extra, you know, it could be an extra 6 to 8 weeks cutting, you know. So if you're doing, instead of doing a 12-week cut, you might have to cut for 20 weeks because you blew out too hard in the off season and couldn't keep your calories in check. So, yeah, keep it in check, bro. I know it can be hard. we all know it's hard and no one's perfect, and you're always going to have a little cheat meal here and there, but just try and cut it to one cheat meal a week or whatever it takes, just to keep your cravings in. You know, and I think it's important to have a good physique all year round, you know, especially if you want to get in the fitness industry and people want to, you know, if you get approached for a photo shoot or something and you're like, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm pigged out, I can't do it. You know, that's not good enough. You're never going to go anywhere in this industry if you're staying out of shape. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question, bro. Lucas, he had the second question, and he said, "Do you want to come over and watch Mythbusters with me?" Which was pretty funny because as soon as that comment came up, I was actually watching it at home. But I'm not going to come over to your house, bro, and watch Mythbusters with you. You can come over here, but I'm not coming to your house. There was one other question here I was going to answer. What was it? It was... Here we go. This, I think, had about the third most likes. What is your macro and calories like during contest prep? Alright, this prep was a lot different to previous preps, because I got really sick. I had a real bad chest infection. It took me quite a few weeks to get over. So I was on antibiotics and stuff, and I didn't get off the antibiotics till 2 weeks out from the show. So it really hindered my cut, because the cortisol was like through the roof, my stress levels, and you know, that hormone will cause your body to hold on to extra water and fat. So it made my cut a lot harder. Now, there was a question here, and some guy said, you know, because I always said I don't usually do cardio, and I leave cardio out 4 times like this. If something goes wrong and I get sick or something like that, I can throw in cardio then to speed up, you know, to my cut. Because had I been doing cardio all the way in, I would have been screwed. I would have to pull out of the show because I would have been doing cardio all the way through. I was on lower calories enough. If I tried to lower it any more, I just wouldn't be able to function. So that's what you've got to plan these things, you know, because guys are just, you know, some guys are doing like 2 hours of cardio a day, like leading into a show, like weeks and weeks out. You know, what happens if something goes wrong and you are sick and you don't want to pull out? If that's not an option for you and you don't want to pull out and you've been doing cardio, you can't throw it in there. You know, you're screwed. You can't eat any less. You've still got to function for work and your life and your relationships and hold everything else together, because I don't think people realize how hard it is when your body's so low body fat. Your body needs extra oxygen, so you're continually tired and feel run down. You know, emotionally, it's hard. So my calories this time round, because of that sickness, I had to cut it quite hard in the last three or 4 weeks, and this is the lowest by far. I was down to 1800 calories a day. So usual cuts, I'd be probably around 2-3 calories from memory. So, you know, it's a big drop down. And that was with 45 minutes of cardio a day, with the 1800 calories. So it's not a lot for a male. It was definitely my toughest cut to try function on that, because I was still working every day and a physical job. My macros were roughly, I was about 80 grams of carb a day, which is not much for me. Protein was still up around about 250 grams of protein, because you still want to keep that protein high, because you're going to burn those carbs pretty fast. So the next thing after burning the carbs and the fat, it's going to try to burn the protein. So keeping the protein high is going to help, you know, not wither away too much. And fats are pretty low, sort of 15 to 20 grams of fat a day, just to keep you know, just healthy fats in there, just fish oils and just the natural oils in your meats and stuff like that. So yeah, that was roughly my macros. And off season, I'm probably about 2,900 for a maintenance bulk. So I'm not going to be putting on much body fat. I pretty much can stay stable, and I can still build muscle on that, about 2009. and that'd be obviously high carbs, probably about 350 to 400 grams of carbs, probably 300 plus grams of protein, and 20 plus grams of fats, healthy fats as well. Obviously, you have a few cheat meals here and there, but that's usually my plan, what I try to stick to, and that for me is enough calories. I can still put on good muscle, and not gain body fat. So last off season I didn't go over 8% all year, and that's still eating quite a lot of food and feeling pretty full, and a lot of energy, and at 8% I still look good, still got abs, not shredded, but still look good. Anyway, I try to keep this short, still 15 minutes. Make sure you like this video if you want to see more of these, because I don't mind doing them. It's a lot easier than sitting there typing out all the answers. So if you watch this and you like it, make sure you like it on my Facebook page, so I know you guys are enjoying it, and I'll do more of them. And I want to try to stick to one topic at a time, just because the videos drag out. I seem to be able to just talk and talk and talk, because I love talking about this stuff. So if there's one, actually leave a comment below. If you want to see more in depth on one subject, I can do multiple videos, maybe do one every week of one subject, so we can go a little bit more in depth. Anyway, I hope everyone's training's going well, and peace, train hard, eat clean.